and I've already clicked start streaming, so this is pre-show. But our logos are similar in palette.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in very maroon, reddish. You know,
That makes it easier.
yeah. Interesting too that because I'm looking at it on stream, and I was going to do that too, uh, and it's a little bluer on screen than it is in my window. So,
Oh, yeah.
but that's all right. It's all good. Do we want to put on any social media, or we just want to go with this at this point?
Up to you. I mean, the auto, since it's on your channel, it should auto pop us in our Discord channel. But
Is that actually working?
yes,
Oh, okay. I was unaware, so that's good.
yeah, I got that set up, and I'm pretty sure I got it set for your channel as well.
Okay. All right.
We'll see in a second. It usually takes a couple of minutes to pop in there, but we'll see.
Yeah. And for this first one, I'm not as worried about it. I mean, this is kind of like the pilot episode, so I think we're good. Also, I will send you. There's hardly anything in there right now, so I will send you the link to quote unquote show notes
Okay.
for next week. So, all right, I'm going to start recording, and then we can just get going, if that's cool with you.
Go for it.
All right. And welcome to This Week in MCU, the weekly after show talking all things Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this week we'll be diving into The Falcon and the Winter Soldier after we do a quick review of Wandavision, since this is our first episode and Wandavision's already been gone. We haven't had a chance to talk about it much. So my name is Kurt Booten, and with me, as always, on this journey is Senraven.
What's up?
Hey, so first off, you did watch WandaVision, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I figured you did.
I've seen every episode twice because I have to watch it the well, not the night of release because that's midnight my time, but I watch it the next day, and then I watch it again on Saturday with my girlfriend.
Yeah, I watched it twice, but by myself because I'm that kind of a comic book geek where I had to there were so many Easter eggs and
Yeah,
references and things to speculate on in WandaVision,
and
that
things
I
that we were expecting that they weren't expecting, and things we were hoping for, and they were like, "We don't know where the hell you guys came up with this idea. We weren't planning to do that."
right. I think they really I don't there's no way I believe Disney was thinking that the amount of speculation and discussion around WandaVision would happen. I mean, we all knew it was going to be
Well,
kind of big, but
yeah, the producers apparently definitely weren't because there was a couple of things that they put in there like, "We were not expecting that reaction from you, Jericho, jerks."
yeah, yeah.
Oof.
And even like, and we'll get to the whole thing, but when Paul Bettany kind of trolled everybody and said,
Oh,
"I'm gonna
oh,
be
he's so good.
yeah," and just like I'm gonna be working with an actor I've always wanted to work with, and we're all
It's gonna
going
be fireworks. Yeah, it's
Patrick
gonna be fireworks on
Stewart,
the screen.
right? And we're thinking, Patrick Stewart. We're thinking, for Professor X, we're thinking Ian McKellen. Maybe we're thinking
Okay,
Benedict
so go
Cumberbatch.
right, but going right into that, everything that they've had interviews with since the show shut down, they've kind of like went and said, yes, this was supposed to happen. No, this was not supposed to happen. They were very upfront, except for when being asked if Cumberbatch was actually supposed to show up as a cameo.
Right.
That one, they're actually um, being a little tight-lipped on,
Yeah.
which a lot of people are saying there was a couple of people that were actually saying yes, he was supposed to be there, but he got stuck due to flight restrictions due to COVID. So I'm hoping that was the case, and he was actually supposed to show up, because that's the only cameo in there that makes sense for what Bethany was talking about. We
Right,
haven't worked on screen together. It's going to be fireworks, and that's the kind of character that I would expect to show up in the very last episode
right.
of this major show.
I think everybody
So
was kind of
I hope that was the
expecting
case.
that because we were told from the beginning that it was going to lead right into Multitude of Madness
Right.
and Multiverse of Madness, that is. And so we were all kind of expecting Doctor Strange to appear at some point. And
Right. That
he there,
was also one of the two reasons apparently for why the last episode didn't have like a bunch of stuff with Monica Rambeau. Same thing. She couldn't come in for extra shooting. Oh no, so not Monica. Oh, Darcy.
oh right, yeah, she was hardly there for that final
Yeah,
episode. That was so
she
weird.
gets like one screenshot and that's it.
Yep.
Which was a great spot because I love the actress.
Kat Dennings.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, Kat Dennings is amazing. But
And it was
that
so
was the rumor.
Darcy. That scene was so
Yeah.
Darcy.
But there was that little clip afterwards of like why is she not here for the debrief? Well, just because she couldn't fly out to do more scenes because she was stuck.
Right. I had heard that early on in filming, Benedict Cumberbatch was on set. I thought there were
Oh, that
pictures.
wouldn't surprise me. That would not
Well,
surprise me at all.
so there were pictures of him on, I guess, on set. But the speculation there was that because of COVID restrictions and whatnot, he was there to film some scenes for the Doctor Strange movie because Wanda's going to be in that. And
That would
so
make sense.
and that would make sense too. So all right. So let's go all the way back, beginning of WandaVision through the end. One, I'm presuming you liked the series.
Oh yeah, the series was great. So wait, hold on. We're
Yeah,
going
yeah.
all the way back. Are we doing a 3.5 hour
No,
podcast?
no, 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 no. That's why all I was gonna do is kind of go. We start with the old timey sitcoms from the 50s, and we
Yeah,
kind of move up until we have no TV reference whatsoever. Right? We finally get to like episode 7, I think it was 6 or
yeah.
7, where there was no real guise of
Nothing,
having any kind of a show.
nothing very specific, but they were all still based on shows
Oh yeah.
until like the last one. Every one of them had something specific about them that rolled into other TV references.
Right. I mean, I think the Modern Family one was kind of the last one, right? The last
Yeah,
full-on sitcom thing, and
right.
and there were some people that were complaining really early on about the pacing of the show. Did you have any issues with that?
No, I actually loved it because I knew my girlfriend was going to latch onto it right away. If it went any faster, I'm worried that she would be like, "Oh, they kind of threw it in for a minute and then they went past it." She's way more on old movie stuff than me.
Mm,
Like she knows all the classic actors and all the classic movies and everything up to like probably the 60s. Anything
right.
over the 60s is too new for her.
Oh, okay.
But she knows all the old stars back and forth. So sitting down and watching, like we watched the first 3 episodes right away. I think we did the first. No, I think we did one a night right away. Starting with the first one.
Hmm.
Yeah, because then we went into once it was over, we went into Mandalorian.
Yeah.
That one we watched like the first 2 episodes right away
Okay.
because she hasn't seen it, so we're catching up on
Yeah.
Mandalorian.
Great. Uh,
But the thing is that she was able to watch those episodes and specifically call out every show that it's referencing every character that it's referencing, and the outfits, like specific
right.
outfits that they're like, well, if she wants to be this character, she should have a pantsuit on. I'm like, wow, okay, that's the kind of detail that I'm not going to be able to catch.
Right. Well, it's funny that she latched onto that because I actually I thought it was really cool homage to all of the old sitcoms and whatnot, but but I always saw that for what it was, and it was literally Wanda breaking down.
Oh yeah.
And so there was just like little tiny piece in the first episode, and then a bigger piece in the second episode, and it just kept increasing, right? And I think given the nature of a mental breakdown and processing grief, that's kind of what had to happen, that kind of pacing. Anything else would have felt rushed and disingenuous to me.
Right.
So by the time we got to Wanda just being completely out of it, it was, I think I felt a lot of sympathy for Wanda. There were some people who were pointing to her being the actual villain. And while there were villainous things going on, it was all in processing her grief,
Yeah.
right? It was just all of that.
Yeah, there was the little spots that people caught right away, of course, was like the red blinking light on the toaster
Yep.
in the commercial. That was the red blinking light on the Stark Industries rocket missile that was in their house.
Well, and the sound too. The sound matched
Yeah,
that
and the
as
sound of
well.
it.
Yeah.
So that was like right away, which was a nice little touch.
Yep. Well, in all those commercials using the same couple. The one
Yeah.
speculation that didn't pay off that I thought was going to was it was the same couple in each of those commercials, and I thought those were going to be Wanda's parents.
Oh yeah. I
And
heard that one too, but I didn't really like click on that one.
but that didn't pay off. I mean, and that's fine. But it was I thought the show was fantastic. What I thought was great was the Vision fight in the last episode.
I honestly, when they started doing the speech about the ship
Theseus.
of, yeah, the ship of Theseus,
Yep.
I squealed a little.
And literally I'm watching it and they stop fighting and they start talking about the ship of Theseus and I'm going, this is so comic booky. This is just so like yes.
Yeah, it's as far as comic booky and like being a big fan of mythology stuff. That was just a little nerdgasm there. Like, oh my god, they're gonna actually talk about this little thing that who the hell knows about the ship of Theseus, right?
Right. And then there's the when Agatha took Wanda to the basement and Wanda couldn't use her magic because of the runes all around the room. And
A
she
little for
explained
like heavy handed for shadowing
foreshadowing
about,
heavy.
yeah, oh hey, we're gonna use, yeah. Okay, it was like it
Yeah.
was so telegraphed. It
I
was
mean,
like 3 miles away.
literally, I'm going, oh, so that's how she beats her.
Yeah.
So I thought it was fantastic. I love the fact that we got some payoff with Monica Rambeau and her photon powers, or whatever they're going to end up calling her.
Well, she had so many names in the comics because she
Yeah,
had what? She had Photon, she had Spectrum, she was
Captain
Captain
Marvel.
Marvel for a
Yeah,
little while. I think they might be going with Spectrum because the first time we see her when she comes through the wall, she actually can see all the spectrums of the
that's
different
true.
energy. So I think they might go with Spectrum instead of Photon for this one.
That'd be fine by me.
Yeah.
And
Um, one of the speculations is that this is how we're getting the mutants into MCU, but I don't know if they're going to do that because they kind of stepped away from using fake Theodro, Theodro,
yeah,
as a mutant. So we'll see how that happened.
yeah, I still feel like they're not being truthful with us with the Pietro thing. I
I hope so. I hope that's true. Apparently, they ran out of budget for they just didn't have the time to do the special effects for the last episode. There was supposed to be a fight scene of him, Monica, and the kids trying to get the Darkhold out of the basement
Right.
and fighting Mr. Scratchy, who's an actual like demon.
Yeah, I heard that too. So I
That would have
I
been cool to see.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to what they do with her and Doctor Strange. But
But I did like what they did for the kids for the fight scene against the military, because that line of, you were born for this
yep.
was just perfect, and we were like, oh hey, look, they're gonna take care of the military.
And there is no way we're not going to see those kids again.
Oh no,
There is no way.
the the last, the post credit scene of what's going on there,
Yep.
we're 100% gonna see them again.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's move on to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 1. We probably should have prefaced the whole thing by saying this is going to have spoilers. If you
Oh
haven't
yeah.
watched the show, please go watch the show. Come back and listen to us because we're not holding back. There's too much going on. We can't be dealing with that. So
But yeah, go watch the show, and then yes, please come back because we
yeah,
need the viewers.
right. Okay, so Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 1. First off, let's just do a little bit of a recap. We get Sam, right, and Sam at the very beginning is like putting on a suit and he's got the shield sitting on the bed and it all looks pretty somber, as if it's almost like he's going to a funeral or something. And what we find out later is that he's just packing up the shield to bring it to the Smithsonian. Right? So,
Yeah.
so the very short scene at the beginning where he packs up the shield, and then we flash to this air fight where he's trying to rescue Captain Vasant.
Is okay. So I have not done the background stuff on this,
Yeah,
and I know you already dived into it.
yeah, I did.
Who's Stefan Basant?
He's just a military dude, as far as we know right
Okay,
now. I
so
don't know. I don't.
nobody specific.
I don't know him from any character in the comics or anything like that. Just a captain.
Okay, what about the guy that was in charge of the kidnappers? Was that actually the Leaper? Was that
Yes,
Bartrock?
that
Okay,
Batroc.
I
That
thought
was,
I recognized him.
and it was the same Batroc from the Captain America movie.
Right, that's why I
So,
was like, I think that looks like the Leaper.
it is. Yep.
But considering I'm watching in the middle of the day while I'm working on my phone,
Right. So and he presumably is the head. There's some speculation that he's the head of this villainous group, this terrorist group called the LAF. And I couldn't find any reference to the actual LAF. So I don't know what that means yet. But it looks like Batroc is the head of that. But I gotta tell you, just as a whole, that whole air fight scene, chase, whole scene
it was
it was like I was watching one of the motion picture
one of the movies.
one
Yeah.
of the movies. The level of quality of that was ridiculous. Like that, take superheroes out of it, that could have been from the latest Mission Impossible movie. Any action film. It was with the air suits and I was blown away at the high level of production quality of this. It was ridiculous.
So
So
apparently the LAF is not in the comics. This is a newly introduced group because of the show.
okay, so that makes sense because they are playing around with some things, but
Yeah.
so I did do a lot. So in my second watching, I did a lot of freeze framing, as you might
I
expect.
bet. Yeah.
So we see a schematic of the plane that he has to go and rescue Captain Fasant from. There's a list of faces on the right, which I guess are some of the terrorist faces, but no names attached to them.
Right.
It's clear Sam is still working with the military.
Yeah.
And Red Wing has gotten an upgrade. It looks like because
It
now
looks so cool.
Red Wing is awesome and has like apparently he says Red Wing get me out of here or something like that or take care of these guys, and apparently Red Wing knows what to do. So
Yeah.
so the level
Definitely,
of AI,
definitely, we got some serious Star Trek AI going on in there.
right? So the plane the plane that Sam gets to, the pilot's already been shot. It's already been captured. And he gets on the plane and starts beating the crap out of everybody. And
Well, we get a little Gremlins moment there.
yeah,
So I saw somebody on the windshield.
yeah, yeah, which was awesome. And then the pilot gets shot by ricochet after an plane flight, and then
Now,
everybody
who
just
didn't
jumps
see
out.
that coming?
Yeah, no kidding.
If you didn't see that coming, you've never seen a single movie with combat on an airplane before, because the pilot always gets shot.
And somebody always gets sucked out the door.
Yep, the very first guy got sucked out the door, then the pilot got shot.
Yep. So everybody jumps out of the plane. I mean, it doesn't matter where the plane went, but just everybody jumps out of the plane. And
Oh,
of
the plane
course,
had autopilot.
yeah. And everybody had flight suits, like those flying squirrel type suits
Yep.
that we see, the wingsuits. And if you look at the wingsuits, the design on them kind of looks Hydra-like.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
that actually makes sense, because I'm sure I was trying to see if there's anything on LAF, but the second iteration of Bartok's brigade was actually hired by Strucker, Baron Strucker, uh, as former leader of Hydra.
Right.
But so they might be tying that at least a little bit into the comics, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
We know that Strucker is in the show.
Well, we know that Zemo's in the show.
Oh, sorry, Zemo.
Yeah.
I thought Strucker was.
Yeah.
I thought it was Strucker.
Now, it wouldn't surprise me if
So,
there's a Strucker.
yeah.
But, yeah, so...
Yeah, I would not be surprised if Zemo and Strucker were together or against each other, because it's Hydra. So who knows how that's going to go down.
Right. And so this giant air fight ensues where Sam's chasing the guys in the flying squirrel suits, and there are helicopters shooting at Sam, and he can't get into Libyan airspace because bad things will happen, and he's coordinating with this dude on the ground, Lieutenant Torres.
Total
And-
fanboy.
Yeah, but he's kind of there a little bit more in the episode than I would have
Yeah.
expected. But I did a little research, and Torres is actually a character from the comics.
Oh, is he?
And Torres is the guy that picks up the Falcon mantle when Sam takes over as Captain America.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense.
It gets
I was
better.
about to say that he's definitely coming in as a little bit of a sidekick here. So
Yeah, so it gets better. Like, and we'll get into that a little bit later. So Sam's talking with Torres, and we get mention of the Flag Smashers, and
Right.
Flag Smashers also a comic book reference.
right.
So are you familiar with Flag Smasher in the comic book?
No, I've heard the reference before, but I don't have the background on that one.
Yeah, and it's pretty much what they did was they took the Flag Smasher as the individual, as far as we know so far, and made it a terrorist group.
Okay.
And so the Flag Smasher, as an individual in the comics, was kind of a guy who wanted to, and they make reference to this, get rid of the borders and have a unified world because he believes that nationalism is the cause for all the world's problems.
He's not wrong.
Right. So, so they make reference to Flag Smashers thinking that the world was better during the blip, and they want a world unified without borders. Now,
See, that's a mixed bag right there, right?
yeah. And so when Torres was mentioning that to him, I got a weird vibe off of Torres, as if he might be secretly sympathetic to that group.
Okay.
Don't know yet. It's way too early, but it was like a vibe that I got. So that's all cool. Obviously Sam got out of the fight, and
With style.
rescued Vasant, and honestly, one of the coolest things I thought when Sam was going after the guys in the wingsuits was just pulling the parachute on one of the guys, and so he didn't have to fight him. He just I'll just trigger your parachute. You're going flying up in the air.
There's no need to kill him.
Right.
They're out of it at that point.
Right. So yeah, and Sam can't get into Libyan airspace, and his thrusters recover because he had a malfunction just in time. Takes the dude, blows up the helicopter.
We do see Bartrock fall out.
Yes.
So
Yep.
we're definitely getting more of him. Because
Yep.
I would have been actually upset if they killed him on the first episode. That would be
Yeah.
such a waste.
I still find that I find it weird that they're making Batroc the Leaper a valid villain because he was always kind of a
They,
joke in the comics.
yeah, but they did a great job with him in the Captain America movie.
Yeah, making him like more of a parkour type guy,
Yeah, he
but
he
with
was
really
fun to
powerful
watch.
legs.
Like him and Cap fighting was a fun
It,
fun
it
scene to
it was
watch.
a very fun fight. Yeah. So all right, so we get done with that, and we flash to Sam at the Smithsonian. And who do we see in the audience but Rhodey?
Which is a really nice little cameo. I hope he shows up through the show more than just a couple of times.
I think he will. And I think he will because of the next scene. But before we even get to the next scene, and Sam is donating the shield to the Smithsonian. So they take it, they put it in a glass case. Very cool.
Did you ever watch Scrubs?
Yeah.
There was one episode where JD has this big opera guide that follows him around, just going mistake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, so that's what you got. You got that vibe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. As soon as they were like, "I'm gonna donate," I'm like, "Oh god damn it, we're gonna have to rescue the shield."
Yep. Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. Foreshadowing. So they're walking through the. So Sam is walking through the Smithsonian with Rhodey. So that was the cool thing that made me think that the Rhodey in the audience thing wasn't going to be just a cameo. That we're going to have more of a. He was going to be there. I think he's going to be there. Even later in the series, and
I hope so.
well, and there's a specific reason for that, I think, and I'll get to that later too because there's a lot of callbacks. So Rhodey is asking Sam like why he didn't become Captain America, and I think that Sam is just feeling unworthy at this point, right? I mean.
It comes across like this was not my time. This not for me kind of thing.
Right, right, and well, and I think that it's funny they played that quote of Sam talking with Cap about taking up the mantle, and Cap basically says, "Hey, how does it feel?" And he says, "Well, it feels like it belongs to somebody else, like the shield." I think he just doesn't feel worthy, and because they brought that back as well. Rhodey, asks him. He was talking to him about why he didn't become Captain America. He says, "Look, the world's broken, and we're all just looking for someone to fix it." Because there's clearly, even though everybody's back, there's still major, major problems.
Right. Well, and I mean, how do you deal with something like that, right?
Right.
First, you got to deal with half the population just being gone. Then you finally maybe got your feet under you a little bit, and all of a sudden everybody else comes back. So it's kind of a really crazy thing to consider going through.
Well, and it's not 5 months; it's 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. So like, it might maybe it took you a year to finally get over somebody that just left, and you're trying to get stuff done. All of a sudden, 3 years later, everybody pops back in.
Right.
Like, how do you adjust to something like that?
Exactly. So yeah, so that's so clearly, and the cool thing was them walking through the Smithsonian and seeing all of the Captain America and Bucky artifacts and everything. And
I love seeing those posters.
Oh yeah,
Or the World War II ones. The I pledge allegiance to the flag and silence to the war, I think was the one.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. That was an interesting one because those are all like official 40s US stuff.
Yeah. A lot of the old World War II propaganda was there, including also they had half of the Captain America #1 comic book
right
in the bottom of that screen. And the cool thing too was we've seen a lot of the Captain America display stuff, But then when they kept walking, you saw more references to things that have happened more recently in the MCU. You know,
So
the
I
reference
actually
to
missed on that. Yeah.
yeah, so references to the Thanos fight. You know, they had a picture
Okay.
of the ship, that circular donut ship that came in.
Okay.
And
That's the kind of stuff that I'll be looking for tonight when I'm doing a
yeah,
second view of it on that, like actually on the monitor, not on the phone.
and they even make reference to Bucky and his Winter Soldier days.
Oh, very
So
nice.
yeah, so it was a pretty cool display. So we leave the Smithsonian, and we finally get to catch up with Bucky. It's Winter Soldier time, and the first scene is him busting through a wall and killing people.
Right,
And
and it threw me off there for a second until I looked at it and went, "Oh, he's got the long hair. This is a flashback."
right, and he says "Hail Hydra," and it's like, oh god, and then wakes up from a nightmare right as he's shooting somebody in the face. It's
Right,
like, okay,
and that one was definitely like if you watch that scene, that last shot is definitely wrong place, wrong time, kid.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. And so we flash to Bucky with a therapist, and okay, cool, that makes sense. And he keeps lying to the therapist, but this therapist, and I've seen her and stuff, I just don't remember her name, because I didn't actually look at all the actor credits because I didn't want to actually see a bunch of people's names yet. But clearly she's awesome because she just doesn't take any of his crap.
And we find out why too, because she actually says like at the end of their session, she says she was a soldier and a damn good one as well, so she knows what the hell he's going through.
Right,
At
right,
least to a certain degree. You know, you can't really say I know what you're going through to the Winter Soldier. You're not 106 years old. You
right,
weren't brainwashed by Hydra.
right, right. So he's talking about crossing names off his list, and or they're talking about crossing names off his list of people to make amends to, which is pretty cool. Um, and you know there are 3 rules that he needs to follow. Can't do anything illegal. He broke that one because every time he's talking about a rule, they flash back to somebody he's quote unquote made amends to, and
Okay. Yeah.
can't do anything illegal. He broke that. He bugged the car.
Yeah. Sure.
Nobody gets hurt. Broke that because he busted up that guy's hand by taking the gun out of it.
Yeah. Okay.
And tell them, which is the one thing he did follow. Tell them
He got rule number 3.
yeah, I'm no longer the Winter Soldier. I'm James Bucky Barnes, and you're part of my attempt to make amends. And even when
He nailed number 3.
even when he said that, I had to laugh because it was like, oh, I have to do this, and I don't want to. So let's see. Therapist is saying that he has trust issues. He has to make friends. It was cool that he did a little bit of a name drop about Wakanda, about having found some calm
Right.
in Wakanda. But otherwise, he's been fighting for 90 years, which is a
And
problem.
yeah, and you can see it too because he goes World War II, then he gets thrown into ice, then he works for Hydra, he gets a little break, then the fight comes to Wakanda, then he gets snapped out, then he comes back and the big final battle. It's just one fight after another for him.
Right. And what basically his therapist is saying is, look, you've been pardoned. You're making amends. You're free. And Bucky's never been free. Like, he's never had this level of freedom. So he doesn't know what to do with it. It was kind of heartbreaking to just come to that realization. But not nearly as heartbreaking as his lunch with his buddy Yori
Oh,
Nakajima.
yeah, that was a little rough. Like, because that kind of clicked for me right away to see what was going on. Um, and we get that later in the scene.
Yeah,
That's actually the dad of the last guy that we see get shot in not the nightmare, well, nightmare, not nightmare.
Flashback,
Yeah,
really.
in the flashback. Uh, and that was like as soon as he came in and they're sitting down, they start talking. I'm like, oh, that's the kid's dad.
What's funny is when they first started, or when he met him for lunch, I actually thought that might have been an old army buddy of his from
Oh.
back in the day.
I
Be,
didn't think they were gonna go with that, so I was like, "Oh, they're doing the kids' deck," and for some reason it clicked for me.
yeah, and yeah, when you come to the realization that Yori's son, and Yori doesn't know how his son died, Bucky does because Bucky killed him, and so this, ironically, is the real way that Bucky's trying to make amends.
Well, right, because he couldn't just come up and say, "Hey, I'm really sorry with this, and this is what I did."
Right.
So, yeah, and we've seen that used in other places before. I
Yep.
don't remember, like I know I've seen that setup done before. I don't remember where.
Yeah, that kind of trope has been done before. No question about it. But it usually ends with the dude finding out, and
Yes, absolutely.
and a giant fight ensuing, and it never ends well. So, and I expect that that'll likely happen, but we'll see. All right. So after that sushi restaurant lunch, where Yori Nakajima sets Bucky up on a date, which is
Just
pretty
damn
funny.
well done.
Yeah, damn well done. We go back to Sam, who is now back in Louisiana at his Wilson Family Seafood place with his sister. And his sister is having money problems, and it's
As
basically.
soon, yeah.
I was just gonna say it's basically grounding Sam in real life with his family.
Yeah. No, as soon as he got to the boat, I went, oh, and there's shrimp skewers and shrimp kebab and grilled shrimp,
Shrimp gumbo.
shrimp gumbo.
Yep. Um, and clearly, his sister's having money problems, trying to keep the business going, trying to keep the house, all of that. And she's saying there's no loans available. This scene is pretty short. It just kind of cements Sam at home now.
And we get a little bit of that feel of what people had to deal with for the 5 years as everybody
Right,
was gone.
right.
Which they go in and they handle really well.
I think so too.
Got- Yeah, there's some really good breakdowns on this. I think while we're gonna get the action in this show, we're also gonna get the background of just regular people trying to live through the last 5 years.
Right. And that just further cements the whole universe, right?
Yeah.
It makes it more real. It's very cool. So that short scene is done, and we flash back to Bucky and his date with the woman who runs the sushi restaurant. She makes a comment about his gloves, and he says, poor circulation. He doesn't want to show his bionic arm. That might give things away.
Right. Or leave fingerprints behind.
Right. They play Battleship, but for shots or for drinks, it looks like.
Oh my god, I would be so drunk.
I mean, the thing is, if your opponent hits you
You take
on
a
your battle,
shot.
you take a shot. If you miss, you take a
You take a
shot.
shot. This is a really good way to send somebody to the hospital.
Well, luckily he was drinking beer, but still.
Well, sure.
Um, and they start talking about orphans and people they've lost and whatever, and then Bucky just abruptly gets uncomfortable and leaves, and he goes to Yori. And I'm not sure why he goes to Yori, to be perfectly honest with you. But when Yori opens the door, he sees Yori's shrine to his son's memory, which is just it's a
So
killer.
she said that it's sad to see Yori, and she's like, I'm glad you're hanging out with him. It's sad to see because he doesn't know how his son died, and
Right.
that kind of clicks it for him, and he leaves. I think he was actually gonna go say, hey, this is what happens
You
because
think so?
Yori doesn't know. I think he was gonna try and do it, but as soon as he sees the shrine, he kind of stops and doesn't go through with it.
Well, and we see Bucky's notebook with the people that he needs to make amends to.
Right. And
And
that name is circled and not crossed off because he can't do
correct.
it. He
But
just,
you
he can't break the old man's heart.
but you know who else is on the list?
I did not notice.
Zemo. Um, and and
It's gonna be a little hard to make amends with Zemo.
and so there's a number of names on that list. Zemo is one of them. There's a couple of Captain America comic book type names that I'm not sure are Easter eggs versus just somebody we're gonna see. There's also like an L. Kaminsky, which I think refers to Len Kaminsky, one of the artists on Captain America from back
Oh,
in the
that's
day.
funny.
Things like
That's
that.
great.
But
When they do a list, they do a really good job with the list. Because when they did
Captain America one,
the Captain America one, it changed from region to region.
right? Based
So
on
it,
the pop
yeah,
culture. Yeah, very
yeah.
cool.
The Japan list was different than the U.S. list, and the U.S. list was really extensive too.
Yeah, yeah, it's very cool. So yeah, it was cool to see those names, and we'll see how those all come up. But okay, so we get that. It kind of ends there, and we go back to Sam, who's going to the bank with his sister, and the bank manager is a fanboy and basically says, "Nope, sorry, no can do, no loan for you." And what
So, well,
killed me
that's
about go ahead.
they're they try and do this, but it casts him in the light of he's always so he's always gun ho. He's the hero, right? He's
Right,
here to save the day. The sister doesn't want to deal with it. She settled her mind. She wants to sell the boat. He's the hero. He's gonna save the day. He doesn't want to sell it. He's gonna pull his family out of it, keep the family boat, and all that setup. And I'm as soon as he's like, no, I'm gonna fix this. I'm like, you're not gonna get the loan. As soon as he says, we're gonna fix this. We're gonna save the boat. I'm just like, this is not gonna go the way you want it to go. This is not gonna happen.
right, right. Yeah, and so and actually, I kind of got ahead of myself. It's weird because I'm trying not to break it down by scene, but that's what's happening.
Yeah.
So they back to Sam. Sam convinces her to go to the bank, and then they go back to Switzerland, where they're gathered. There's a gathering on the street. Torres,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, Torres goes undercover on his own and like sets up his camera, his phone to record what's going on there, and he's got a hold of this Flag Smasher logo on his phone type thing. I don't know where he got that information, but like other things, probably Facebook, and and there's clearly a gathering of Flag Smashers, and then somebody comes in and distributes a bunch of Flag Smasher masks, and everybody puts them on, and clearly it looks like they're robbing a bank.
Yeah, well, they're the distraction, and the main guy is robbing the bank. They're there
Right.
to distract the police. But we get to see that it's a powered.
Yeah, it's a super. Yep, no question. And that might be Flag Smasher. Like it might be that character.
Right.
We
They're
just we
actually
just
bringing
don't
him
know.
in.
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me if it is. And that would make sense. Because then if it is the main Flag Smasher, and they're calling the group Flag Smashers, identity becomes a little bit more secret, right? I mean,
Right.
so clearly the dude is super strong. Probably, look, it's the MCU, so probably a super soldier serum
At least
recipient.
part. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we don't know anything about him other than the mask, and he's got long hair. that's
Right.
kind of it. And Torres gets the crap beat out of him.
Well,
Yeah.
stuck his head where it didn't belong. He got it punched in.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. All right, and then
It
we
builds
go.
character.
It builds character, like nothing like a broken orbital socket to build some character. So then we go back to Sam at the bank with his sister and the bank manager, and this drove me a little crazy. It made me hate the bank manager and banks in general even more. He says, "Hey, we've seen here that you've had no income for the last 5 years." And
Right.
she's going, it's hard to have income when you don't exist.
Yeah.
Because the blip lasted 5 years. It looks like about 6 months past the blip at this point.
Yeah. So they're
And
setting that this is the stuff for WandaVision is like 2 months after the blip.
something like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but again, I think the year that we're in the MCU at this point is like 2024.
Yeah, because the first battle was 2019. The second one was 5 years later. They have set it either 23 or 24.
Yeah. So, the bank manager fanboys, but he says, "Yeah, sorry, no."
Yeah, which
And the cool thing about that scene though was him going, "Hey, so I've always wondered how do you heroes make money?"
right, that actually made sense. Like,
Be-
how do you guys actually stay afloat? Well, okay, he's definitely military. A bunch of them military, and I'm like, well, get a job. Spider-Man had a job. He had several.
right, right. And then so no go at the bank. Sam gets a call from Torres. Again, this is the third appearance of Torres. I think Torres is around for a while. I think
Yeah,
he's not just a random military dude. And again, because I do know some of his background in the comics, that makes sense to me. Um, the TV, he gets a call from Torres. Oh, that was the cool thing is when Torres says, "Yeah, this dude was super strong," and Sam sees some of the video. You know that he looks at it and he's going, "Oh," and Sam goes, "Oh, you don't think it's?" And he stops. I think that Sam thinks it might be Bucky.
maybe that. Yeah, that would make sense at least for a little bit. Thinking that he's gone bad again.
Yeah, because if you remember back in Winter Soldier, Sam is talking to Captain America and says to Steve, "I don't think this is one of these guys that you save. I think it's one of these guys that you need to stop."
Yeah,
And he's talking directly about Bucky. So there's clearly a mistrust there. Um, and
and we
then
know we had screenshot not screenshots but like the previews for the show do show them in like in therapy to get kind in therapy because they're in an interrogation room together but
right,
it's kind of like a therapy session so
right,
there's going to be some trust issues to get around.
right. And then the TV comes on, and Sam's sister's going, "You got to see this." And it's WHIH, which apparently is the only news station in the Marvel Cinematic Universe
They're
because
everywhere.
they're everywhere. Who says, "Hey, we have General Atwood or Captain Atwood, whatever his name is, or Senator Atwood, I think is what it is, announcing a new Captain America."
Was Senator Atwood the one that uh the politician that Bucky goes after? Was that the one that she was talking about?
I think so. I think
Because she
so.
specifically says if he doesn't get on board, then get rid of him permanently.
Yeah, I think so. And I think Atwood was Hydra in Captain
Right.
America as well. So, and they bring out the new Captain America and with the shield that Sam gave to the Smithsonian.
Right. So I'm actually surprised that they brought him out as Captain America. I thought they were gonna do they were gonna introduce the US agent.
US agent, yeah.
Because I think that's what's supposed to be on the show. I think we're supposed to get US agent.
Well, I think we will.
Yes.
So I mean that was a surprising thing for me. I knew they were going to introduce John Walker because he was in the credits and we've known about that for a while. But as Captain America right away was bizarre to me. Like I
Yeah.
was not expecting that. And what was cool, and again, it depends on the familiarity you have with the comics. But if you look at his uniform, it's got vertical stripe or horizontal stripes across the front of it rather than the stars and
Right.
stripes, and that is very reminiscent of the U.S. agent
Okay. So
uniform.
he basically flows into being US agent later.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Okay.
And the question that I had is, well, if they were going to bring out a new Captain America right away, why didn't they ask Sam?
We know the answer to that.
Well, I think we do.
Because yes, the show is technically set in 2023 because MCU is right now is in 2023. Yeah, the racist doesn't go away.
Right. Well, okay. So I'm glad you brought that up because
Well,
I
they
have.
they they do a little, like, the sister goes in on that point a little bit at the bank, but the bank manager shuts it down.
Yeah. Yep.
Which I'm glad they did there.
Yep.
Because I didn't want them to push it there. But yeah, I don't see them going, let's bring him in and right away bringing the black guy in as the Captain America,
Yep.
because that kind of stuff doesn't die down. You know.
So I'm glad you brought that up because it actually relates to the roadie thing to me. I think that Sam is. I think Rhodey is going to be more of Sam's mentor than we
Okay,
realize. As
that would
as
make sense.
as a powerful black man in the MCU.
That makes
Okay.
sense, and we know he's got a show coming up. What, like 2022, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yep. And then I'm going to jump a little bit. So after this scene where we see John Walker come out as Captain America, we go to the credits. Now, I don't know if you watch the credits very closely. There is all kinds of stuff in the credits. Like,
So I let him play.
yeah.
I Again, this was running on the phone, so I glanced at it. I didn't like pay
Oh,
attention to the details in there,
I
but there was
I
a lot of imagery going through.
I freeze framed this morning, and oh my god, there's a lot of stuff. So every time somebody's name was on screen, there was text behind it that it overwrote.
Okay,
And so there was all kinds of stuff in there as well. So let's
so they're
see.
going deep on this.
They are. They definitely are. So I'm gonna jump only because of the discussion that we've been having to there is a scene later on where it was we see a search form uh, where it talks about I'm looking for, I've got all my notes right here. So there's a search form where it talks about an agent referring to a subject and text about conditions of release of a number 29656 or 02656
Okay,
subject name. And there's a picture in back of that, so that form is kind of torn, and there's a picture in back of that appears to be Carl Lumbly.
Carl Lumbly. Okay, that name
So
actually
so
sounds
he's
familiar.
Carl Lumbly's an actor, and I know you've seen him in stuff, um, and he is cast in the show as I think the name is Isaiah Washington.
Oh, good lord! I
Okay,
definitely know this guy.
yeah,
He was Mantis. He was
yes, he was
on
Mantis.
Mantis.
Of all the things to pull out, Mantis. But yes, he was
Yeah.
Mantis. So he was also Martian Manhunter's father, I think.
Yes. Yes. On Supergirl.
Yeah. So so I believe he plays Isaiah Washington in this series. Isaiah Washington was one of the first recipients of the super soldier serum and was a black Captain America back in the day.
That's a cool tie-in. If they actually, because he's supposed to be in the next episode.
So I think what they're going to do is Sam's obviously not feeling worthy. I think between Rhodey and Isaiah, they're going to make him feel worthy so that by the end of the we're getting a little bit into speculation, but at the end of the series, we get Sam taking up the mantle.
That would be really cool. I would like to see them do that kind of setup.
Right.
Yeah, he's supposed to be in the next episode.
Awesome. Perfect. That's great. So, all right. So back at the beginning of the credits, there's all kinds of pictures in the background, lots of information. There's a reference to a group, and I've not found it yet, called GRC, and there's a like a triangle pyramid type thing, kind of an Illuminati looking thing, with an eyeball in the middle of it. And that GRC logo appears 3 or 4 times throughout the credits. Don't know what it means yet. So there's that. There's a monkey logo that appears, like a screeching monkey. Maybe it might be a howling commando thing. I don't know. And then all those credits have text underneath them. There have been references to Madripoor, Shield, Agent 13. Sharon Carter, who's going to be in the series.
We know she's
Yep.
coming back in.
There's clearly something that says pick from December 16th, 1991, 7 p.m. Cam 3. Well, that was the night, and the camera that captured Howard and Maria Stark being killed by Bucky.
Oh, okay.
So there's a picture from Selective Training and Service Act of 1940 as amended. Just some text there. There's something that says "I'll repeat," and then "Standing for Freedom and Liberty for our veterans." There's more references to GRC. There's something written in Russian that I couldn't translate, and
okay. Well, that one, if you want to pop that into chat, I'll take a look at that one.
Well, no, I'd have to get a screen cap of that.
Yeah. That one I'll look for tonight when I'm rewatching it, and let you know next week what the hell it says.
Great. 5 years lost and found. How do we move forward? There are references there. Where do we go now that they're gone? Which is that support group that Steve was part of during the blip. Then there is a screenshot that says Power Broker watching. Now, Power Broker is a character from the comics that gave Torres his powers, which led to him being Falcon when he took up the Cap mantle. Power Broker is also Power Broker is also responsible for giving Flag Smasher his powers.
Wow, that's good. That's going seriously deep in there. If that's the way they're gonna do it, that's some serious backdropping.
Yeah, and but it could be that they're setting us up for this Power Broker, who apparently is a guy that can, he steals and powers and gives them to other people, as a big bad.
That could be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That could be very interesting.
And because Torres got his powers, it led to him becoming Falcon when Sam took up the Cap mantle in the comics. So it would be really cool to promote another fairly unknown actor to another superhero status, and leads into my overall speculation for the next phase, probably phase 6. And that is, I believe they've been setting up Young Avengers this entire time.
And bring him in as Falcon for the Young Avengers?
Yep. Along with Billy and Tommy, along with Kate Bishop, along with who else? Oh, along with Riri, who's supposed to be coming in.
Right.
And
is that actually confirmed?
I think it is.
Did we get a confirmation that Riri's coming in?
Yeah, because there was an Ironheart.
Right.
Yeah, there was an Ironheart.
Right, it is on the slate. It is on the slate that Ironheart is coming.
They are so setting up a Young Avengers for us.
Yeah.
And the Young Avengers could be led by Captain America, Sam Wilson.
Could be. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Because to have an adult Avenger mentor as leader of the team, that would make all kinds of sense. So anyhow, yeah,
that there's a lot.
Yep. Army propaganda picture of John Walker that says Cap is back. That's the first time we saw his name referred to him as Cap. I knew he was John Walker when they introduced him because I knew that actor was going to be in it, but John Walker, the name, the first time they announced it was in that credit scene.
Right.
And yeah, there's a picture of Sharon Carter, but no credit under her name yet. They showed some missing posters, couldn't make out any of the names there. There was a screen with random words that said, the ones that I could read said Rusted, 17, Daybreak, Furnace, and it completely reminded me of activation codes for Winter Soldier.
Makes sense. They also sound like they might be like mission codes and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's a mission report, December 16th, 1993, Long Island, New York. I don't know what that refers to. But, so, And that was kind of it before they went to just regular credits with nothing else under it. There's
Wow,
so
they're
much.
packing it in. They're just packing it in.
And they're not doing it in the same way that they did WandaVision, right? Because WandaVision, you had
Right.
to like zoom in on stuff in the kitchen to figure out what was going on. Um, so, boy, yeah. So that's a lot. I mean, there's a lot. That was one episode, which was longer than WandaVision. This was like 45 minutes
Like
long.
no, well, it was 45 minutes long with the credits.
I thought it was 49 with the credits, but okay, 45, whatever. Still longer than the 20, pretty much 22 minutes that we got for WandaVision before the credits. So,
I can give me a second. I'll actually check on that. I can pull it up real quick. Uh, yeah, 40 no 49 and a half total with all the credits.
okay.
But
So it's still a
yeah,
lot. They're obviously going a little longer form with
yeah.
this because, well, it's just a straight up storyline. It's not any mental breakdown as far as we can tell.
Yeah, it's like 42 and a half minutes of actual show
Yep. Which is
and then 7 minutes of credits.
right. Well, and again, I spent 15 minutes on freeze framing
Sure.
half of those credits.
Right. It's 7 minutes of credits, but it's 4 minutes of, like looped in credits.
Right, exactly. So, and again, no stinger, which is
Right.
I miss, but I think we'll get him towards the end, like we did with Wanda.
So this actually made sense for WandaVision. The aspect ratio of the show
Yep,
changed
yep,
when it went to real world. We went widescreen. When it went to the show, it went back to being the specific format. It got wider as the shows got later,
yep,
and then the first time we get a post credit scene would be like a 2000 show.
right.
Post credit stingers were not a thing before that. So yeah, my girlfriend pointed that out. She's like, they didn't do it before because it didn't make sense because those shows would not have something like that. That time frame wouldn't have it. I'm like, all right, you're brilliant. you're a genius.
That never occurred to me.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, I put the review portion of this after the recap, but we've kind of been talking about it in general. I gave this a big thumbs up. I thought this was a kick-ass start to the series.
Yeah, I hope they go more with it like this. It's definitely going to be way more action orientated. It
Yep.
has to be because it's these characters. It has to be action orientated. But it does look like they're going to dive into dealing with that 5 years, dealing with family stuff, and dealing with coming in and out of the blip and everything like that. So that'd be really cool to see. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, me too. So any speculation
I don't know if we're getting Strucker. We're definitely getting Zemo.
with the mask?
There,
We're getting
yeah,
Zemo with the mask.
that would be interesting. Yeah, we're definitely getting some therapy time for Bucky and Sam.
Yep.
That's going to be entertaining to watch. Because those two are not talkers.
No. Sam
But
probably more so.
Sam definitely more so. But that's more because he's an actual you know grew up now.
Right.
But Bucky has the mentality of he grew up in the 40s. This is not something you did. So I think that's going to be a part of breaking that down as well, which will be really cool. There's definitely PTSD to deal with and all that kind of stuff, and I think it's going to get a really good build up for Rhodey. For what was the name of the show? Um,
War Machine?
it's
No.
no, well, it's not War Machine. It's
Was it Armor Wars?
yeah, Armor Wars. Armor
Yeah.
Wars is his show, like 2022 or 23
Yeah.
or something like that. But we know that he's got a show coming up, and I'm looking forward to that because Cheetos is an
He's awesome.
awesome actor. He's
Yep.
a goddamn national treasure.
He is a national treasure. So the thing that I was not surprised at, but I'm wondering when it's going to happen. Is when does Sam get together with Bucky?
Probably next episode.
You think so?
I wouldn't be surprised. Well, they only have like 8 or 9 episodes, right?
Yeah, yeah. And there was no, I mean,
So
but there was no indication that that was happening. Like at least at the end of this episode, right? There was nothing that.
he got when he was on the ship when he was trying to fix up the ship. He got a text message. I think that was from Bucky returning his text.
Oh,
Because
I didn't notice.
yeah, because the therapist does tell Bucky you've been when she looks at his phone, she's like, "You've been dodging calls from Sam.
Oh,
He's
right,
like your only friend.
right,
You
right,
got to
right.
talk to your friends."
Yep, yep. That's right. Yeah, because when she was talking about not having any friends. Yep,
Right.
no question
I,
about it.
I think I think the text that goes through. I think that was from Bucky. Again, I'm gonna be watching it again tonight. I'll be keeping a little closer eye on it. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
And I wonder at what point does Sam get to talk to the new Captain America?
That's got happening, and he's not gonna be happy.
Nope. And John Walker in the comics, part of the reason why Cap came back, well, Cap basically the government said, "Hey, you need to do what we tell you," and Cap said, "Yeah, I don't believe in what you're telling me to do, so I quit." And
Right.
John Walker took up the mantle, and John Walker would kill. That was one of the things he would kill. He got really weird and aggressive, and that's when Steve said, "Yeah, I can't do this anymore, and I'm taking it back."
Was John Walker the character that they used for U.S. Agent on Agents of Shield?
Um, did they have a U.S. agent on Agents of Shield?
Well, the guy that was in charge of Shield for a little while. I don't remember if they used him as U.S. agent
Oh, but his
or
name was John Walker.
I don't remember. That's why I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't think so. Because I think I would have recognized that name, and I don't remember that coming up in Agents of Shield.
yeah.
But
I also don't remember what season that was.
but they've also been separating themselves from Agents of Shield even more when
Yeah,
they dealt with the Darkhold in Wandavision. The Darkhold looked
that
completely different.
yeah, it looked different, but that's going to be an interesting tie-in if they actually do it for um, Doctor Strange 2,
Yeah.
and if they try to bring connect Shield back up to it, that's a straight tie into Ghost Rider.
Right. Right. So yeah, we'll see. You can do all kinds of things with the multiverse, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So all right. So I think that kind of wraps things up. Did you have anything more?
That wraps it up for the shows. The only thing I wanted to mention because it's for MCU stuff,
Yeah.
two things. First thing, Feige did confirm that why am I blanking on his name? Steve Rogers actor. I totally
Chris
just spaced out
Evans.
on. Yeah,
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans is not coming back as Captain America. So those rumors got put to bed by Feige a couple of days ago. And the other thing is, if you play Marvel's Avengers, they just put Hawkeye into the game. We had Kate Bishop a little while ago. They're finally putting in the MCU costumes into the game.
Nice.
And they just announced their first expansion, I think, in June, and it's going to be Wakanda, and you're going to get to play Black Panther.
Nice. Yeah, I did hear that too. I do think we may see Chris Evans in the show.
I think we'll see him
Old
in
man
the show
Chris.
or the movie. Old Man Chris maybe
Yeah.
pop in for a cameo, but I don't think they're going to bring him back as Captain America at this point. I think he's pretty much done with the role.
Yeah, because I mean, they didn't hold a funeral for him. He just came back as an old man.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to believe he's not around. Although I don't believe he's living on the moon.
No, no, I just God, that was so bad. And
So
you looking at look at him as he's doing this. I'm like, you're a smart kid. Why are you saying this? You should know
well,
better.
so I will say that one of the other YouTube videos that I was watching, thought that maybe that might be kind of an indication of Torres digging for the location of Cap because
Maybe.
because he's actually they're gonna do a swerve and make him part of the bad guys.
That could
Torres.
be. I
So
hope not. I
I
like the
hope
kid so
I
far.
hope not too. And yeah, he seems to be pretty good. All right. So with that, same time next week.
Absolutely.
And we got our technical challenges solved, so hopefully it'll go a little bit more smoothly. Sen, where can they find you?
You can find me every morning at twitch.tv/SenRaven for Marvel Strike Force stream. Sometimes in the evenings, and a little bit. Usually it's 8:30 a.m. Pacific time during the week, and a little bit later on the weekends because sleep is good. And after this, I'm going back to bed.
And I can be found all over the place at VO by Kurt on Twitter, on Twitch at VO by Kurt. If you want to follow this podcast, please go follow us at twitch.tv/VO by Kurt or subscribe to the podcast at anchor.fm/This Week in MCU. And those are right now separated by dashes. So this dash week dash in dash MCU. I'm trying to fix that, but bear with me. If you just search for This Week in MCU, you should find us. That's on Anchor and soon wherever you get your fine podcasts. And with that, we will see you next week for episode 2 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Have a good week. All right. I just stopped the recording. I'll put the music at the front and the back, and I'll do a little intro. Welcome to the MCU this week. But
Awesome.
Yeah. So that went long, but I figured it probably would.
No,
particularly this
I
first
think
one.
it's fine. Yeah, I think it's fine.
It seemed like the discussion moved along pretty well. I will put a break in. Probably.
How long does it usually take to get listed on like iTunes for podcasts or Google Podcasts or stuff like that?
Not very long. Like so, what you do is through Anchor, you can specify, and you can actually go to Apple if you want to, and try to like force it in or submit it.
Cool.
Submit it. So
Right.
it only takes a little while. So once we get it, then it will automatically go. I want to look at the chat room here because I didn't pay much attention to it. I did hear the ding a ding a ding. Stealth King with the sub. Thank you so much, dude. And great feedback, man. Very, very cool. You know, maybe next week if we have people in the chat room, maybe next week we take a break. We actually take a break, Mark. Address people in the chat room and then continue.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, unless you
Captain Puerto Rico. I don't think they bring him in as Captain Puerto Rico.
Probably not. Okay, so we have in the chat room Commander Rootbot, FTO Parrot Bot, Joint Effort. I don't know. Sen Raven, obviously. Stealth King 500, real person. Sticky Pigs. I think it's a new bot. So cool. Howling Commandos for the win. That might have been a callback when they did the cartoon movie for the next Avengers. It was Bruce Banner. Oh, okay, for the mentor.
Yeah.
I guess as Professor Hulk he could.
Well, he's going to be on the She-Hulk show.
Right. And I honestly think setting Sam up as the mentor for the new group would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, because look, oh yeah, that's the other reason why I think Pietro might be. Well, no, not Pietro, because we would have a speedster with Tommy and Billy. So we Wiccan Speed, Kate Bishop, Torres,
And
Ironheart.
Well, could be Ironheart. Could be also Ant-Man's daughter, Stature.
Oh yeah, Cassie.
Yeah.
Absolutely her. And then who? Oh, in next Avengers or Young Avengers, there was what was his code name Patriot?
Yes.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
young
yeah,
black kid who basically was doing the Captain America thing.
Yes, I think it was Patriot.
Yeah. So that would be. I mean, it feels like they're setting up all that, and like I said, it could be Torres taking that place instead. But yeah, I think all we need really is, you know what we need? Kid Nova.
Oh, that'd be great.
We do. We need Kid Nova. The Nova
Wasn't there rumors
Corps.
of Nova?
Well, the Nova Corps. While it's great that they've been in Guardians and everything, we've not like they've had a kind of like a minor role in the whole thing.
Oh, here we go. This is from January 15th. MCU will have two versions of Nova. Teases Marvel president. The original Nova is known as Richard Rider. In the comics, recently you used a younger, new Nova Latino teenager named Sam Alexander.
Yeah, Sam Alexander is the one I was talking about. So they are
Yeah.
talking about having him.
Yes.
See,
Because I do remember Nova Corp coming up on. Aren't they doing an Nova show?
yeah, you know, I think they are, which would be the Richard Rider thing, I would think.
Right. Yeah. Kevin Feige confirms MCU plans for Nova.
Okay. And,
Eventually.
yep. Yep. And then, honestly, I think you cross over Miles Morales,
Pretty cool.
make him in the Avengers, even though Tom Holland is still he's A-lister, right? And
Oh,
so,
absolutely.
but I think you bring in Miles, and you have the next Avengers, or Young Avengers or whatever they're going to call it.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
So, and I think they're going to build it up like they built up the Avengers, one hero at a time. So, all right, cool, man. I'm going to let you get back to sleep. I'm going to process this and get it uploaded. And I'll probably upload the video to YouTube eventually as well.
Sounds good.
I'll see if I can come up with a title card or something. But
I'm going to get some breakfast and I'm going to stream in an hour. So,
all right. Thanks. And
All right.
I'll talk to you later.
Yep. I'll get you later.
See ya. Thanks, guys.